listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. Hopefully this is all broadcasting well. Trying to find my voice meter. It looks like it's a little light, but it should be broadcasting well enough. Maybe another decibel. It's hard to adjust this one with the wind. It's a little stronger microphone. So I'm not sure if it's going to work out or not. A lot of background noise coming through on this one. If I increase the noise gate, it would probably work. And then I'd have to store the presets and hopefully they would stay. Again, I can see there's some background noise there that I kind of wish wasn't there. Look at my settings here. Make sure everything's up and on the right way. So there's a lot of noise finding its way into the recording, but not as much into the online presentation. So what's most likely happening is somebody is hacking my voice somewhere and probably has been for about 7 years. And they think it's funny and they feel superior, but it is definitely psychosexual psychosis on their part. They think it's funny because they're so superior to everyone by committing crimes. That's what you have to understand about the whole thing before God even thinks about letting the planet up. Their greatness is criminal enterprise, but it's not great. They're not great. They've never been great. They have money, big deal. Some of the most heinous people that have ever been on this planet, the most shittiest people that have ever been on this planet, had money. And they'll go, well, you don't have money, and you sound like you want money. You're not the giver of money on this planet. You're the taker away and saying that you're the giver. If they had their way, there'd be nothing here. And we're on our way, aren't we? Away from me. What they do is they try to embrace you in conversation in your mind with the license plates. And what they'll do when you distance yourself is start friendly conversation, like they're your buddy. Bring the nice plates. Oh, you're so wonderful. Well, we have to test you in relation to our torture. Otherwise, we can't improve on our torture methods. That's really what they're saying. God doesn't accept willful ignorance, one iota. So again, there is an issue. I think this mic might be a little hot for this, but we'll see. Because there's a background wind today. I did order new furry windscreens. I dried this one with the hair dryer so I could use it. It wasn't going to work without it because I had to turn the volume up, and I don't know where that came in at. I had to turn the volume up on my device to actually get any volume online when it was there all day before I went online. And that's when the background noise started. So again, you can bet your bottom dollar that they are promoting people by fixing their audio, even if they can't seem to get it right in their device. And then other people, they're destroying the audio that's perfect in their device. Again, that's criminal enterprise. Again, that is evil. So these things that they do to be great is not really great. Most people that have money are not great. They're evil, they're low down, they're nobodies. They simply stole the world. Is that a level of intelligence? Of course, they believe it's intelligence, right? That's why Trump is so angry at people that help him. He'll take your help, but about 6 months to a year and a half into that help, he freaks out because he can't deal with it. He can't deal with the fact that he's not the genius. And that's true about many people in government. Trump's not the only person, but you can actually see it. That's why I hated Bolton all of a sudden. I had a bone to pick with Bolton because he was talking about ex-employees. I thought that was funny. Because all of a sudden he became the ex-employee. So that's, people in the government, that's the way they get when you leave. They're in the cult and you're no longer in the cult. Right. So it was a crazy, crazy time when I was in government. When I got out, I realized just how crazy it was. It was just insane. When you're asleep, they love it because they get to be psychotic with you and you don't know to say anything. Sounds like a speedway out here. Boy, it's really pegging on my wireless Go here without that extra noise gate. It may be just a matter of hooking this up to my desktop and changing the preset so it has a little bit more noise gate in it. This mic tends to be hotter. This is like an indoor mic generally, and they use it for concerts and stuff like that. Like a drummer that has to sing, we'll put one of these on. It's about, as far as being able to sing live, this is probably one of the better headsets for that. Like a drummer where you're active, or a guitarist if they don't want to sit over by the microphone stand, or stand over by the microphone stand. Beautiful day out. I thought it would feel much hotter than it is. Even yesterday, I thought it would feel much hotter. It was a little more overcast than it is today. So it wasn't a full day of sun. But boy, that wind's picking up. I think that's what was happening in Oklahoma. When the heat picks up, I think the wind would pick up. So it would be nice out and you want to go and do something outside and it's windy. And then when it's rainy, the wind stops. Except when the I don't know if it's a thunderstorm or what do they call that? The supercell storms come through. So as far as, this is what I wanted to get online about. So in Texas, this is how you look at it, metaphysically, and through, what might be using spycraft to destroy the fabric of our nation and cause people to be radicalized. Again, there are political operatives that do that, so it gets to be accepted. But foreign nations have an interest in destroying our peace. So we see two Hispanics, could be Republican operators, but who do we know is familiar with Republican operators and love Republican operators besides Trump? Putin. So that's what could be happening. I don't know. Because Putin backs the Republican platforms by spycraft operating that truth, even if it's an untruth. So we see two Hispanic people in close range of each other, time frame wise, engaging in similar activity. Texas is a cause the homelessness state. If they don't like you, they want you to be homeless and dead because you're an inferior mind. That's how they make them feel how they make themselves feel great about being a superior mind, because they have money and they have a house and you can't even maintain a hotel room. So I already received something in mind. I don't know if it's real. It represented itself as being law enforcement, that the individual may have been financially strapped and on his way to homelessness. So again, that's one of their programs. Now, it could be metaphysics, it could be spycraft. I believe it's both. And again, the spycraft operators, even if they're not spycraft operating, are witches, devils, demons, antichrist, witches, and sorcerers. So they're operating a witchcraft spycraft prior to coming out and operating a physical spycraft in most cases. So that individual may have been caused to act out in that way because he is Hispanic. He's Latino in Texas during the time period they want to drive up the anti-immigrant mentality. Well, Republicans, that's how they handle it. Again, instead of healing things, their will is for Latinos to look like bigger criminals than their conservative paramilitary people. Again, Proud Boys is a paramilitary. What's the other thing, the liberal side? Antifa. Antifa's a paramilitary. Now, is it really a paramilitary anymore? I don't know. They look different now. I don't think there is, because they had those guys with the guns, and that isn't the driving factor. They're backed by people in government. So remember, I told you, Koresh was probably caused to kill ATF people by government people. They operated him. They don't care about you. You're just fodder when you're like an ATF agent. You're fodder for them to get to Silicon Valley and make $1 million a year between their investments and their salaries, stock options, and everything else. So I think Koresh was psychological. Because how can you steal machine guns from the National Guard and still be dancing around like that for an extended period of time? Well, to the credit of people that are supposed to investigate that, if you have to investigate somebody that the CIA or CIA contractors is hiding, it's almost impossible. Besides being extorted away from it. But if they get you to commit a crime, you're all for that system, right? No matter what it does. As long as you have your swimming pool. Again, it goes back to that Network episode. What's it called? Network, the movie? They give you your little life and you're supposed to just accept it. I don't know if this microphone is going to work out. It's too hot. I think if I use the other microphone and actually record it and then post, I don't even know if I have to post edit it. Something's happening while it's going up to the server. It's coming out the other side, sounding like Swiss cheese. With my headphone, and I don't expect it to sound like it does in my headphones, but not like it was this morning. That had to be hacking. Oh, that's right. Remember to heal people in those situations. So we see an uptick in Latino crime, then we heal Latinos. I mean, you want to heal everybody pretty much, but if Latinos are starting to have issues, it's definitely a metaphysic. The question is whether it's the physical spycraft also. So in Texas, you should be healing your Latinos. And it could just be, the Republican Party, again, wanting something like them to look worse. Again, the idea of a trans person. So what we're seeing is a conservative vibration of witches, of devils, demons, antichrist, witches, and sorcerers coming against the mind of what they would consider libtards, liberals. So is it purely a spell, or is it involving physical activity of a CIA nature? So when you're a police officer, if you see what happens is when you get into the politics, I want to stop myself there for a second. When you get into politics, you accept the narrative, right? Because after all, that gets you another swimming pool or a bigger swimming pool or another, Bronco or Jeep or whatever it is you're into. No, it isn't natural. You're part of a criminal enterprise. They want you to believe the shadow remuneration is natural, right? No, nobody got me my house. They try to say that I was in when I got my house and I didn't accept it or something. The reality is my wife and I, my ex-wife and I, had our home offers denied and that homes weren't available anymore, that kind of stuff, on and off, until we snuck in, and then they harassed us for being, having sealed that deal. Supposedly somebody else was supposed to get it. The whole thing may have just been a spycraft set up to move people against us. Like we didn't rightfully own that home. Again, they were frustrated. Couldn't block me from a good priced home. So that realtor is probably blessed of men. He'd probably get a free ride into heaven. So again, that's how important things are to God. Manifesting God's will. Again, he manifested God's will. These people are going against God's will. 100%. There's no way that if you're part of that thing, that God would ever want you up. Or anybody that you touch up. Because they don't want it. God doesn't want them to believe that you're the power and the money. I mean, you all bring chaos. Remember, all God's doing is taking your spells that you put on everyone else, all of you, and reversing them back onto you. So I said earlier that I believe that possibly they're trying to keep me inside. I'm about 85% sure that they've come up with a device that can alter your brain function simply by being hit with it. Now, they may have had it too strong in the Havana thing. They may have been just trying to alter their brains. But they had it too strong and it caused the permanent damage. Now, who it is, I don't know. And I think many of you that have your Silicons world and all the other worlds, you just don't care, do you? That makes you great, all of you? So it is what it is. It isn't what it isn't. Try to keep my phone pointed down, just to let you know, people. I don't know if you noticed how people feel when you walk around with your phone pointing at them. So if you're doing a broadcast, the best thing to do is tilt your phone down if you're walking. Now, if you're filming yourself, you might end up pointing it. So places I've lived, I've told them, look, my camera's not even on. So don't be nervous. Of course, they were nervous anyway. The guy in the blue line hat carrying a phone looks like a camera, I can't do anything about you all using drugs around me. I mean, this is this is about all I can afford. They made sure of it. Because you're easy to hire. It costs them less money to hire a narcotics addict to do something to me. Government included. So again, you need to heal the Latinos. You need to heal public places, I guess. Again, if your churches were doing what I'd say they should be doing, and again, there might be an effort to stop your churches from doing it. Again, a lot of churches are fake. But if they were out there walking and healing places, it would work because you would preempt everything with a heal. You would still have trouble. And in fact, you would probably have almost as much violence in the beginning because Satan would reject it and be so angry that he'd move all his criminal spies to counter it. But it would cost him a lot more anti-power, a lot more anti-money. Kids on a scooter here, keeping fit. Should have better foot gear on. He's got those flip-flops. It's like poolside flip-flops or the shower flip-flops. I think he hurt his feet with that. He goes for a skid or gets it caught somewhere. They curse me. You know, I told you before, the thing where, you know, it's in fad to wear your pants low, that's a curse. They curse me with it. Right now my pants are dropping down, or my shorts are dropping down. Now I don't think my underwear is showing, but another quarter inch it might. It's a curse. They get mad at me. Like, they might just call me an N-word. It might be an N-word. That's all I do is call you an N-word, and then your pants start dropping. I probably will my pants down in public. I'm sure of that. Probably a million times. So it might be a combination of the calling me an N-word and willing my pants down in public. I used to do it in Santa Fe all the time. I could tell. My pants, I'm always pulling my pants up. I'm like, what? And God says, it's a curse. They blew your pants down in public and also called you an N-word. See, that's their perception of a black person. So, again, there's your idea. Or not the idea that, out here, all of you. See, they're getting a little comfortable and they're projecting more. That's their image that they want to present of black people, so they will it. Same thing. Yeah, I think this mic's a little hot for this walk. So that's, you know, there's nothing you can really do about that. I don't think that guy was much of a shooter. Again, he just went through it and then was killed. The Uvalde kid was really into it. And again, he came from the gaming world. See if they come from the gaming world at all. I was looking at it yesterday. It's just not even just that, just how everything is just realistic but fake. It can cause a skew in the mind. If you're throwing spears at people and they're going, and they're getting like years ago, it wasn't this realistic. And it's just like, it can skew the mind to believe that it's normal to do that and that you're ready to do that. Everything they're doing physically can cause what I'm saying a ray can cause. So again, you have to figure out what it is. I don't think the government really cares. They just want to look good until the day they leave the planet, or as good as they can, and get wealthy doing it, versus actually being good. So again, the planet is condemned, and that's part of it. Again, every day I need a massage, and it's not me stopping myself. God says it's not safe here. This is part of that world of corruption that was in Santa Fe. So again, your credit is going down. Your fake lies no longer exist. Because I can out-witness you. They witness each other up as being the wonderfuls. All the people they attack, they say, oh, they can't even get out of their own way. Right, they can't. It must be. make it happen kind of thing. Again, they'll tell you things about the shooter that is just it's drivel. It's put into the system so they explain away what they're doing to people. Oh, he's just at the end of his rope. He's in the employee assistance program. They cause all that. Quite frankly, I was resurrected on this planet. By all intents and purposes, I should have been dead, correct? But they won't admit that. They'll just, oh, we saved these evil. We're with God because we own the churches. Boy, it's a hot one today. Tomorrow's going to cool a few more degrees. So it's going to be nice for the next month or two. Pretty much just, I think it's 75 to like 85. So what I might have to do with this, I'm not sure. I guess I can't. I have to reset the noise gate. That's what I probably have to do. I was hoping to stay away from that. So what I might do is go back to the other microphone. I really like this microphone, but I just don't know if it likes the outdoors. Again, settings on this might adjust and then work. But what happens is it drops the preset. I wish we have it just amazes me that they don't have a controller app to control these, via Bluetooth or something like that. Even USB. You just, very few iOS and even less Android. You can operate the thing as far as plugging it in, but you can't adjust the effects. I mean, I can accept that for maybe a short period of time, like a year or two, that you had to kind of figure out how to do it. But I mean, the Sound Blaster G3, you can adjust all the equalizers and all that stuff with a Bluetooth device. I mean, it just doesn't have that on the recording side. And that thing's about the size of maybe a 2 lighters or less. 2 big lighters side by side, but actually thinner. So again, the world's just weird. I mean, there's no real big technological breakthroughs. I just saw one today. It's called a boom or something. It doesn't have a noise gate. It's portable, but anything that's portable should have a noise gate. And you can't control it outside of iOS and Windows and Mac. And the only thing, there's another question. The only thing is that you probably can't control it while broadcasting, but you might be able to. I'd have to look at that. You might have to actually go into their app and use their app, which doesn't broadcast, which is another crazy. All recording apps should be RTMPs at this point, where you can just RTMP through your Wi-Fi connection. Again, the XApp concept. Where it does more than just being stupid. It's stupid. You gotta get 17 apps to do one thing. Like, if you're making money. We're still in stupid world. I could pre-record everything, I guess, if I wanted to, but I'd rather be doing it the way I'm doing it. It's good exercise. Well, I love walking. I just need to get massages. Right. So see, I don't know his story if he's an immigrant. So we need to look at that. That'll hopefully come out. What his status is. But it's definitely Latinos are getting cursed right now, and that's why we're seeing that. But then the trans got cursed, and she grabbed the weapon. So those are the people getting cursed. I guess the black people get a reprieve. They're finally picking on someone else. It's a crazy world. That's how crime happens, by the curses. They curse you when you're a kid, and next thing you know, you're 15 and you're committing crimes, and then you go away for life. I've seen people, that were like, started when they're 15, they're 18, they're 19, 20, and they're doing life. Intelligent people that feel bad, really feel bad about what they did, but couldn't get there on the street because their minds are cursed, their bodies are cursed. And the only other question is there a physical operation causing that? Are they being selected to be those? I'm selected to be those, and I'm not. But that doesn't mean that I criticize somebody that becomes it. Even if you were honest about testing people, you're talking about creating an environment that clinical psychology says causes crime, causes violence, causes suicide, causes drug use, alcohol use, and you're testing people with that? Clinical psychology says that that's called abuse. My neighbor's driving away here. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.